welcome to Morning Trade with Moneycontrol. I'm Karunya Rao and I'm here to help you navigate the day with actionable trading strategies, sectoral trends, and most importantly, your queries during the show. So please keep commenting on our live feed. We'll have your questions addressed by our technical expert. But before we kickstart, let's see what the global handover looks like. Strong earnings and optimism over the Fed easing the pace of hikes led Wall Street rally. The S&P 500 closed at its highest level since September. In fact, all eyes will now be on the minutes of the November Fed meeting that will be released later today. It's largely higher start for stocks in the Asia-Pacific zone as well. The Japanese Nikkei shut on account of a public holiday. SGX Nifty, meanwhile, indicates a positive start for Indian market. European markets end higher with modest gains. Stoxx 600 was up 0.8%, reaching a 3-month high. Oil and gas stocks jumped 4.6% after Saudi Arabia denied a report that OPEC Plus may boost oil output. Meanwhile, cap good companies are poised for a big lift as the government and India Inc. go aggressive on capex. We decode which stocks will benefit the most. Individual stocks in the spotlight today are Tech Mahindra, L&T, Info-Mindtree and Bharti Airtel. All right, let's get going and discuss some of the stocks that are likely to be in the spotlight today with Chandan Taparia of Motilal Oswal. Morning, Chandan. Thanks for joining in. The handover, the trade setup looks fairly positive. Talk to us about what kind of a trading day are we, set for?
Good morning, Karunya. We have seen finally comeback of the bulls after the consolidation and decline of last 3 trading sessions. The good part is it managed to hold the support near to 18,133 marks. It remained in a range, but the good part is in last hour it witnessed good recovery and managed to touch near to 18,250 marks. Technically, in the last week, it was finding support near to 18,206. In this week, it has broken the same, but it reclaimed the same, which again indicates that bulls are back and we are expecting market to head towards the recent 52-week high. So now, if market open positive and that is clearly indicating from the SGX Nifty, then we will negate the lower highs of last 5 trading session. And in that scenario, the target goes to 18,442. So by looking at the entire structure, we suggest to buy Nifty with support of 18,088. And expecting this momentum to again take the uptick towards 18,442 marks. Now, if I talk about the Bank Nifty, that is one of the strongest sector we have in the market. Bank Nifty is already hovering near to its lifetime high. In the last week, it made the new lifetime high of 42,622, and we are just 150 points away from the same. And I believe that a small follow-up could take it to hard zone. So in Bank Nifty also, we recommend to buy with support of 42,000, and we are expecting uptick in Bank Nifty towards 43,000 going forward. So in last couple of days, or especially in this series, the Nifty and Bank Nifty remain range bound. But overall, we believe that now some sort of consolidation, breakout and momentum could be there, led by short covering as we're heading towards the final expiry week of this series.
Okay, all right. I want to also flag off some stocks that could be very much in the spotlight. Of course, the big one will be Nykaa, and we've discussed in great detail the technicals, during the course of the week. But Chandan, I want to bring out a few names from the IT pack. The first one is Tech Mahindra, wherein LIC has hiked the stake by 2% by buying additional 1.9 crore shares in Tech Mahindra. And now their shareholding has gone up from 4.9% to 6.9%. Talk to us about Tech Mahindra, and clearly, IT, ran out of favor for most part of the year. There were some bouts of a reversal, but not very sustainable. Talk to us about the way forward for the next couple of weeks or even months, perhaps.
Yeah, Karunya, if you look at the Nifty IT, comparatively, Nifty IT has done well, but now consolidating in a range. Nasdaq has bottomed out 2-3 weeks back and has been consolidating in range. So I think some sort of consolidative move could be there. But yesterday we have seen some uptick in the Nifty IT, which gives a sign for some positive momentum. So we have more positive bias in counter like SCL Tech and TCS. But yes, Tech Mahindra is also positive to range bound. After the consolidative move of last few days, it has taken support near to 1,030, 1,035 marks. So I believe that with support of 1,030, Tech Mahindra has potential to move to us near to 1,098, 1,100 zone. That is the recent swing wide. So expecting 3 to 5% uptick from the current levels in positive to range bound manner in Tech Mahindra.
Okay, the next one I want to talk about is Airtel. Its subsidiary Nextra Data has started the construction of a new hyperscale data center in Kolkata, and they'll be investing 600 crores in this particular data center, which is going to serve the underserved markets of East and Northeast regions along with SAARC countries. And of course, we also saw, just a couple of days back about the tariff hikes as well that Airtel has undergone. It's seen a good, steady run up in the last 4-5 months. In fact, if you look at the 6-month trajectory, 24% added on the upside. From these levels, close to 850, where do you think it could go?
Yeah, so Bharti Airtel is one of the strongest counter, which is having lower beta but slow and steady moving upwards. Year-to-date basis, it's up by around 24%. Even the stock is continuously moving upwards from last 4 series, and lows are rolling from series to series. And the good part is on weekly scale, it is forming the higher lows where supports are gradually shifting higher. So overall, we have positive buyers. The stock is already witnessing outperformance with good momentum from last couple of weeks. We believe that uptick could continue. Yesterday, it headed towards 860, witnessed some dip, but we believe any small decline could be buying opportunity. The stock has major support near to 830, and with this support, still we have potential to head towards 880, 888 levels on the Bharti Airtel upside.
Okay. Back to IT then, LTI and Mindtree. The ex-date for Mindtree merger is today, which is 23rd of November. The record date is 24th November. Mindtree will get delisted from the exchanges, and L&T Info-Tech will now be renamed as LTI Mindtree. Now, what are the prospects for LTI in terms of technicals, or is it sort of tricky to explain how the merger will pan out and what happens to the stock price over near term?
Yeah, so already you replied and given the proper view on the same, that yes, there will be merger for Mindtree LTI. So it would be very tough to look at the chart and say the view, especially when corporate action is happening. I think because of all these news, the stock is continuously falling down. Recently, it made high near to 53.60 and continuously falling down from last 5 days and now holding near to 47.50 kind of level. So technically, not getting any sign of reversal or bottoming out. Let this corporate action happen, then only we'll understand. But yes, those who are holding can keep the position with support of 45.50 level if someone is talking about the positional point of.
Okay, and finally, the fourth stock on our list is Rolex Rings. PGIM India Mutual Funds has sold 1.9 lakh shares for 1923 rupees a piece. If you look at the September 22 shareholding, PGIM India Midcap Opportunities Fund held about 1.8% stake in the company, or close to 4.9 lakh shares, out of which they have sold 1.9 lakh, it seems. Talk to us about Rolex Rings. Solid uptick seen last 6 months, again 50% added on the upside. Good time to book profits, or do you see more potential for an uptick?
See, the major trend of the Rolex Ring is positive, and we have the price history of this new stock of around 15 months. If I look at the last this entire year, it's rallied by around 65%. If I look at month-on-month basis, the stock has really done well from May 2022 till October end, and rallied by around 1100 to all the way to 2200. So gone double from those levels. But now in this month, we are witnessing some profit booking decline. But I believe that major trend is positive, and this decline could be again both. Those who are holding can book partial profit, but yes, again, be ready to grab the opportunity on bargain hunting near to 1775 to 1800 level. So I believe that level again provides the buying opportunity for a move towards 2000 to 2100 kind of level on the upper side.
Okay, great. Chandan, request you to stay on with us. I want to touch base with Khadija Mantri from Sharekhan as well to discuss the prospects of cap good companies, because they seem to be very much, a favorite on Dalal Street. Khadija, hi, morning, and thanks for joining us. Global giants are looking to embark on a China Plus strategy to safeguard their supply chains. Our own government is looking to amp up capex and heavy infrastructure and manufacturing in a big way. Talk to us about how the capex cycle could pan out. Are we really on the cusp of a super cycle?
Yes, when we say that the global companies are looking for an alternative supply chain solutions, they are definitely looking at India, and the government's push for making India a global manufacturing hub has added fuel to the fire. So all the major capex is going to happen in sectors like infrastructure, railways, port, steel, cement. Also, the PLI scheme, which entails an investment of about incentives of about 2 lakh crore for the next 5 years, has encouraged a lot of companies to expand their capacities, be it electronic manufacturing, mobile, air conditioners, automobile. So a lot of capex is happening, and then yes, we are on the cusp of an upcycle, which could benefit a lot of capital goods and engineering companies in two ways. First is that they will get, or when the capacity expansion happens, then there is a need for power, there is a need for generators, then there is also a need for civil works. So these companies will get orders for those plants as well. And then the public and private capex that is happening from the government side in infrastructure and metros, railways. So those are also I forgot to mention transmission and distribution. So all these capex will increase the order book of the leading capital goods and engineering companies.
Okay, so all of these triggers and tailwinds of sorts, what kind of companies do you think they can benefit? Do you guys at Sharekhan have any favorites? And are we potentially looking at a re-rating for the companies as well, given the whole host of tailwinds that are likely to pan out?
Yes, definitely. There are a lot of tailwinds in terms of increase in order book. So most of the companies like L&T, KEC International, Thermex, they all have an order book at a lifetime high. So obviously this would reflect in their execution, which would lead to increase in revenues. The second tailwind is the margins. So despite the strong order book, which has been increasing since almost 1.5 years, it has not been reflected in the operating profit and the PAT. So now with the commodity prices declining or stabilizing, the global supply chain being reinstated, it will also be reflecting in the bottom line. So yes, all these companies are set for a re-rating. If you see, most of these companies right now are trading at close to their historical valuation. So based on the earnings growth expectations, these companies can see re-rating.
Okay, all right. You know, we saw something similar back in the day as well, between 2003 to 2008, when India was on a verge of a capex upcycle. Almost, you know, it's been 2 decades. Why this time could be different? Do you think, you know, the way things have panned out over the last 2 decades, right now what we're looking at could be different from what we saw about 18, 20 years ago?
See, earlier when the capex upcycle happened, China was also a major competitor to Indian engineering and capital goods companies. So if you remember, a lot of boilers or the power plant orders went to China. But now since the government is focusing more on Make in India through various schemes, and then also the government is focusing on keeping the business policies very easy for everyone to come in and set up manufacturing plants in India, it is going to be driven more by domestic companies. So that is one, and that is why we feel that domestic companies would benefit more because they would have less competition. Lot of companies are also strengthening their supply chain. They are in India only. They are not depending on China. So, for example, Dixon Technologies or Blue Star or let's say Cummins India, they are doing capex in their own manufacturing facilities. They are taking out brownfield and greenfield capacity expansion. So the dependence for raw material on China has declined, or any other country has declined.
Right.
And also the government policies have become more favorable to the domestic companies. So that is the most differentiating factor. And now we also have more skilled labor. We have worked on our cost also. So China earlier had the cost advantage. Now the labor cost of China in India is almost at par.
Okay.
So there also we have benefited.
Okay. All right. Great, Khadija. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us in detail about cap goods companies and specifically the segments and the stocks that could benefit on back of the tailwinds playing out in the sector. Okay, back to technicals then. Chandan is standing by. Chandan, any of these cap good names that look attractive on technicals too?
Yeah, so talking about capital goods name, L&T is one of the counter which is consolidating a range, but major trend is positive. If I look at the monthly basis in last 4 months, this stock has really done well, but now in this month it has been consolidating in a narrow range. So I believe this consolidation of last 14 days is now coming to an end for the fresh leg of rally. So closely tracking it and expecting 4 to 5% movement on immediate basis towards the end or at the beginning of the new series. So 1980 could be the major support for L&T, and we are expecting a run up to us 2100 to 2120 kind of level. We have other counter on radar in capital goods could be like Siemens. However, this stock has lost its momentum, has corrected from 3000 to 2800 level, but again may find some support at lower territory. So L&T will be the one of the strongest counter in cap goods, which is forming the positive price pattern and looks good in terms of short term as well as the long term point of view.
Okay, all right. Let's move on and bring on board some queries real quick. Hari Krishnan writes to us and he wants your view on HDFC Bank. Now, HDFC Bank, just like many of its peers, last 1 month has seen a good upward trajectory, adding about 9-10%. Talk to us about the way forward from here. Do you think this run rate could continue, or it could again, sort of act range bound and sluggish as it has been for most part of the year?
So Karunya, we have more positive view on the Bank Nifty index compared to all other sector. But in banking, we believe that PSU will outperform, whether you talk about Ken Bank, Bank of India, Union Bank, UCO Bank. If you talk about HDFC Bank, we have rallied by around 6-7% in this month. But the major momentum happened on the 11th of November when some positive trigger came from the bank. And after that, it has been consolidating from last 6-7 days. So yes, setup is positive, but it has got stuck in a range as we are heading towards expiry and some call writing is visible. If someone is looking for slightly longer term point of view, then we have major support near to 1560, and with that support, it can reclaim to recent swing high of 1642. So overall bias is positive, but it may take time. And we have more positive bias on PSU Bank if someone is looking to play the momentum on short term to medium term point of view in the market.
Yeah, in fact, that answers the query of our next, viewer as well, because they wanted to know about Bank Nifty, Federal, SBI and Axis, Vasu Diwan. But I think he's pretty much must have gotten some clarity about how you feel about the banking space right now. Shakti is writing to us about Vedanta for the long term. Now, Vedanta could very much be in the spotlight today as well, because they've declared a huge dividend of 17.5 rupees. Talk to us about how the chart is looking, especially for the long haul.
Yeah, especially when you talk about the long haul, Vedanta may see the positive momentum. And the good part is metal, which usually remains volatile, started to attack some buying interest. We have plotted all the sector of market on relative rotation graph, and we came to know the two sectors are showing the strength. One is the PSU bank and second is the metal. So in metal, whether you talk about Jindal Steel or when you talk about metal mining name like NMDC or when you talk about Vedanta, structure is now getting improved. If you look at the weekly chart, it has been consolidating and coming out from its narrow range price formation. So that is an early sign of the fresh leg of rally. So we have support near to 300 zone, which is respecting well from last 10-15 days. And with the support of 300, it can go to 325 and above 325. You cannot see the next leg of rally on positional point of view, which will lead it towards 350. So 300 is going to be the major support to see this positive price action in the count.
Okay, all right. Quickly moving on to Rohit's comment as well. He wants to understand how the technicals are looking for Info Edge. It's seen a spike, in the last couple of weeks, but couldn't sustain that. Talk to us about how the chart looks for this one.
So, Karunya, the Naukri has done well earlier, starting from 2020 to till 2021. That time, this stock rallied well from 300 to all the way to 7,500. But now in this year, it has corrected. We have seen major dividend also 2 days back, and now some selling pressure is visible. So the good part is the declines are being bought, but concern is the follow-up is missing. And if I look at the broader price scenario, it has been moving in between 3,700 to upside at 4,400 level, and in between we have hurdle near to 4,000 mark. So I believe the previous trajectory of 3,700 to 4,000 will play. So let it decline to some lower level, then you play the range with support of 3,700 and look for a uptick towards 4,000.
Okay. Next question real quick. Suraj is writing to us and he wants you to share your view on Aarti Industries. How's that looking?
So, Karnya, let me be very clear in the market that this is not the market where you are witnessing broad-based buying. This is a market where your bank Nifty is trading at lifetime high territory. Nifty is high and slightly away from lifetime high. And selective sector and in those particular stocks are doing well. So I believe in this market, selective bank, PSU banks, defense name, few capital goods, few cement name could do well. So now let me talk about the Aarti. This stock has corrected recently from 745 to 640 kind of zone. So already we have seen correction of more than 15% and now finding some support. So it is good to play the range, which is already pre-decided, but concern is momentum is missing from last couple of months. So I think those who are looking for trading bet can use the support near to 645 to play the bounce towards 720 marks.
Okay, all right. Now, Chandan, you spoke about how you guys are betting big on Nifty Bank, especially PSU banks is something you like. Any other individual names you want to flag off to our viewers?
Yeah, definitely. I was trying to flag off the banking name so you can understand and get the clarity. So we are positive on the Canara Bank. This stock has given a consolidation breakout of last 9 to 10 days. And the good part is the stock is trading at multiple months high zone. So here we are continuously forming the higher lows formation on the weekly chart. It has surpassed the immediate hurdle of 310, 315 marks. So I believe that now 306 could act as a major support to drive the move towards 333 to 340 level. Apart from that, we have seen good attraction in other banking name like Union Bank, UCO Bank, Maharashtra Bank. So Union Bank, which already rallied well, wait for a decline towards 74 and play the uptick towards 80 kind of level. So all these names could be in focus. Even stock like Bank of India or UCO Bank looks good. UCO Bank has seen the good momentum. We have support near to 18.5 and this stock has potential to move towards 24, 25 level. So UCO Bank, Canara Bank, Bank of India, Maharashtra Bank, these are the names where we are still looking for 8 to 10% uptake if someone looking totally for the PSU name.
Okay, all right. On that note, Chandan, thank you so much for joining in and sharing your views, your thoughts and your understanding of the markets as they are panning out with us. With that, it's a wrap on Morning Trade. Thank you so much for watching.